Hey guys, Fusebox back on Raid Shadow Legends, and I want to go over this what's next in Raid. There is endless stuff to be excited about. Most of it's coming soon, a lot of it actually Wednesday, but there are some warnings that no one's really bringing up, and I think a lot of players are going to be scratching their heads. So we're going to watch some of this video together, but let's go over, let's skip. We all know about the dupe system. We'll talk about a couple things. One, probably the most used item out of it is going to be the Faction Guardians. And a quick warning, if you have a clan boss member that's speed tuned, whether it's unkillable or not, and you do actually have enough duplicates, whether they're rare, epic, or legendary, to actually increase their speed, definitely beware because it's going to throw your tune off. So kind of be watching before you click them in. Do you have gear to swap out and kind of make that difference? That's something that just no one's really mentioned, and a lot of people are probably going to be scratching their heads. So I just want a quick warning. It's something that's going to probably get a lot of people, especially if you're using rares or epics, because it's going to be pretty easy for a lot of people to go ahead and get most of their dupe system done on that. So when you're increasing your factions, watch out for heroes that are speed tuned. Other than that, we'll just touch on this, the empowerment, right? Look at these numbers. We've got a lot of HP. I mean, 40% HP percentage, attack percentages. It's basically like an extra piece of gear on each hero. The speed, 15 speed is pretty big. It's pretty big. The accuracy, the resistance is pretty big, and even that 30% crit damage is pretty big. A lot of people are upset. So yeah, I get it. That seems a little bit overpowered, but let's be honest, there's going to be like 38 people who can do it, and it's only going to upset about 200 other people. This is really going to matter really for platinum tier whales versus krakens. That's where the big gap's going to be. It's not going to be free to play, a gap between free to play and whales, or free to play and krakens. That gap is never going to close. It's never going to close. It will be a little bit further, but it just kind of really doesn't matter. So I get if this puts a bad taste in your mouth, but honestly, it's not going to affect most of us at all. It really is not. So just kind of like, you know, there's a lot of build up. I wouldn't call it hype, kind of clickbait, false anger. This will upset some people, but most of us it will not affect. So I would just kind of ignore it. They may tweak these numbers after hearing from everybody. I definitely want to hear what you think about it, but most of us just, it will not matter. So I wanted to touch on that. So the rest of the dupe system is reasonable. It's pretty solid. It's going to help some people out. So let's skip on a little bit further and kind of check out what's coming. So quality of life improvements, we're all looking for those. Let's kind of check it out and see what's up.
That's the big update squirming its way in-game very soon, but that's not all. Let's take a quick fire look at a bunch of other updates we're bringing to Raid soon. First, the Shadowkin are getting their own faction crypt. It means more milestone rewards, but you'll still have to finish every crypt if you want Lydia. So if you're close to finishing already, you might want to finish the job before you have another crypt to complete. Second, we're renovating the tavern.
Okay, we all knew about the Shadowkin coming. If you're close to Lydia, you might want to get her now. But either way, you're going to want to get your Shadowkin kind of in shape to start going through faction wars. But this tavern, this is something you want to pay attention to.
Getting a filter that only shows champions that are eligible for each type of upgrade, as well as the ability to change the sorting orders from ascending to descending. XP brews will also be grouped together in a single slot to make things quicker and easier to manage. And we're also adding a slider to make it even easier to beef up your champions in one go.
All of that might just be the best thing coming. I don't know how soon this item's coming. You know, it may be the beginning of next year, but this is definitely, I mean, we've all been talking about it. We've all been thinking it, saying it. So they listened. They listened, and we should just be grateful that they heard us. Super cool.
Third, we're adding rank and rarity filters to the artifact storage, as well as making it possible to select all the artifacts you've filtered for with one tap.
This will be it's a very big improvement for when you're going through trying to sell gear. There's more improvements they could do, but it's a huge step forward. You definitely will get to points you want to filter even equipped gear that is certain star ratings, try to move on. Still waiting for that magical, you know, missing stat would just be amazing for selling gear. But right now, huge improvement.
So you can sell your gear in bulk. Fourth, and my personal favorite, Changes to save teams and skill instructions. We're increasing the number of save teams to 15, and we'll be dividing them up by game mode so you have 15 for each mode. We're also making it possible to create farming setups that you can run in multi-battle mode, along with being able to set different skill instructions for each round of a battle separately. Alongside...
Okay, that's a lot to take in there, but more slots for teams. I've got spaces, you know, Doom Tower. You can end up making a lot of teams just in Doom Tower, let alone all your dungeons. You may very well have a speed dungeon farming team for 20 and a different team for 25, and sometimes doing one or the other because of speed. So there's a lot of reason to want more teams. I don't know what it means by mode. Is there going to be Doom Tower teams and then dungeon teams? Is hard to say, but more teams is great. But that last little bit is actually pretty interesting. So they're saying that you can set up your teams with AI telling them how you want them to run each round. So that could be super cool and useful. Yeah, because there are moves you might not want to use until you get to a boss. That is pretty cool. Telling somebody to prioritize something during the first wave, change things up on the second wave, or change it up when you get to the boss. That could be really, really cool. Let's just kind of keep going real quick.
These changes, we're exploring some options for how to make it quicker and easier for everyone to speed things up throughout the game, starting with Faction Wars and the Doom Tower. We're going to be kicking things off by enabling super raids for Doom Tower boss fights. And
that's cool. Super raids for Doom Tower boss fights. At least you're getting, I guess, 2 for 1. Maybe they'll even go a little further than that. Doesn't say anything about auto runs.
Keep things fresh in battles, we're also adding a new buff and debuff pair that increases or decreases resistance in battle. Being able to have an enemy's resistance is no joke.
So this is cool. You know, we don't have an HP buff or an HP debuff yet, but we don't have a resistance. And that's pretty cool to be able to buff yourself on a Doom Tower boss in arena. That's going to matter more in game, but if you are able to actually increase your resistance with a buff, it's going to be a whole lot easier to not sweat the gear so much and actually go up against a boss and resist what he's doing. Breaking his resistance could be interesting too. So that's cool. New buffs are always cool. They didn't mention anything about Faction Wars, how they're going to speed Faction Wars up. Hopefully that will be an auto battle once you've beaten it. But anyways, let's keep going.
And we think these effects will add a new layer of strategy to Raid's battles across the board, including introducing completely new team compositions and archetypes. And since we're on the subject of new team compositions, the best thing for that is new champions. A bit of a tradition here on our What's Next series. What you're looking at now is a first sneak peek into the next line of...
We have a lot of cool new champions coming out, and all of them look pretty solid. I may skip forward real quick. The champions, there's going to be more in-depth looks at them, but definitely some amazing champions. Okay, so the interesting thing on Hydroboss, you'll be able to see, it looks like if you kill one of these heads, this is the one that will revive in their place. And if you kill one of these, this one revives in their place. That gives you some insight as to what you actually will be facing if you take out one of the certain heads. So it's going to be interesting to see how we play that out. To not make this a long video, they will rotate after 4 weeks of fighting this boss. So the boss, you have 1 week to attack it. This is another warning. 1 week to attack the Hydroboss before it resets. Everybody gets 3 keys, and they can use those 3 keys throughout the week. So I would advise not just jumping in and using 3 keys, like right off the bat. I would think it through who has the best heroes to face the first setup. And then, because after 4 weeks, this thing's going to rotate these heads around. They're also going to bring in new heads in the future. It won't always be these 6 heads. That's awesome as it can be, because we need variety in this game, and this is going to be a lot of fun. But your clan may want to really consider, while the first 4 heads are up, who is best equipped in your clan to take out, say, one certain head. And then when this one comes in, you could pick the one of those 4 that you want to fight. Who in the clan is best equipped to take on that head, because each time you use 6 heroes, by the way, instead of 5, that is going to be fun. Just adding a hero adds a whole new layer to team building, so that's exciting. But out of your 6 heroes, when you take your first attack going after whichever 1 or 2 heads you're going after, your next key, these heroes are locked out. And to keep this video short, You can, of course, go watch this on my Discord channel, on Raid's Discord channel. But these heroes would be locked out. So now there's another reason to have a dupe. If you really, really want a Duchess on 2 teams, you may want 2 Duchesses or even 3 built out if you really want her on every team up against your 3 keys against this Hydra. So that's kind of another interesting way to look at dupes now. And you can also be using them at the same time as a faction guardian, increasing their abilities and anybody else in their faction. So there's a lot to think about and a lot to take in. But this will rotate, and when it rotates, the affinities will change. It's going to be pretty exciting, pretty interesting. There is a little bit in here about how the boss will sometimes randomly eat one of your heroes, and whichever head eats that hero, you've got to take that head out to get your hero out of his belly before he digests them. So you're going to want to bring some damage, not just this all-out defensive team throwing out poisons or whatever. You're going to want somebody on that team that can actually run some damage on the head that ate your hero, because otherwise he's dead for the entire fight. Really interesting mechanics. I don't want to be here all day, but they also have some new sets coming out that come from this clan boss. And if we skip over to here, so when you put this set on, 1 piece of this set gives you 20 resistance. Pretty solid. 2 pieces ups your HP by 15%, and you can see the rest. You get a 12% speed bonus for 3 pieces and end up with 24% speed bonus once you get to 5 pieces. And in the end, you get a new buff called the protection buff. There's another one called the stone skin buff, I believe. Definitely some really cool sets coming out. Let's see, is it Stone Skin? Yeah, Stone Skin, which is really interesting. Stone Skin makes you super defensive and tanky. It basically is, it sounds like it's going to be close to a no damage buff. It's going to really mitigate damage. But when you're wearing this set, bombs can shatter you and sounds like instantly kill you. So in Arena, if you're wearing this set, you're going to be super tanky. You won't really know if they're wearing this set, but if they throw a bomb on you, they can wipe your team. But think about PvE. This set, look at all the resistance, the defense, the stone skin, and this isn't even with 6 pieces. Let's just skip ahead a little bit more and see what we get. Yeah, 2 turns of stone skin on each round. You get 30% defense, 40 resistance, HP by 8%. This could be really solid in PvE areas where you know you're not going to get bombs against you. This could make some super tanky heroes. And the other set with all the speed, and I mean, these are really cool sets. So they're only going to be obtainable through the Hydroboss. So keep that in mind. It'll take a while to actually get enough gear to put together an actual set with good stats, but it's all well worth it. So, you know, a couple warnings about if you buff the speed of a certain faction, it could throw off a tune that you have. Kind of watch for that. Definitely a lot coming with the Hydroboss. Wanted to kind of touch on it. And I definitely, now that we know even more, want to hear what you're thinking. I mean, I really still think this is going to bring clans together in a new way. Just another warning. Don't jump in and start smashing keys against bosses. You do have difficulties easy through Ultra Nightmare. So it's going to be interesting to see how clans decide where to start. Like, you might want to start on Brutal or Nightmare. There are going to be some clans that clearly will have the means to take on Ultra Nightmare right off the bat. There's a lot to learn. So, you know, it's interesting to see where's your clan going to go for first. If you're killing it as a team, trying to get double loot, just like on the clan boss, you're going to want to effectively kill one of these the first go round. So, you know, you might want to like proceed with trepidation, you know. Anyways, it's all good. The one thing everybody's complaining about doesn't affect me. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to be having a problem staying in platinum at the last minute of Arena before the reset. It's not going to happen. They're already going to beat me anyways. I can dip my toe into platinum and then I'm going to get kicked right back out. So I'm not too worried about the empowerment of heroes. But, you know, if it's really bothering you, tell me why. Because I do understand there is a group of people who will be affected at the very top of the game and the very top of the game. It's not like we're pitting them against each other. This is Polarium's doing. So if you're mad at anybody, be mad at Polarium. But it's going to affect so few people that it's not my fight. I have no dogs in that fight, so it just doesn't bother me. I just hate that everybody gets so toxic over something that, you know, most of them are not involved in. This will not affect them. You know, I just hate to see a bunch of anger at a game when it doesn't even matter to most of us. But hopefully they will fix it for the people it does matter for. I hope they fix it before it comes out. They are still subject to change these numbers, but if they put them in, it's hard to take things away once you've given them away to players. So I hope they do some adjusting before it comes out. Let me know your thoughts. You can watch this video yourself. It's definitely a cool video. I didn't want to sit through 13 minutes of it while stopping and talking. Anyways, thank you for your time. Leave your comments below, and until next time, enjoy the grind.